Apart from a 1 million ringgit payoff after losing the 14th general election, former Prime Minister Najib Razak hardly earns enough to honour the cheques of millions of ringgit issued these past few years. The court today found out how much Najib Razak earned as Prime Minister, and it was certainly not enough to sustain a lifestyle full of designer suits, Birkin handbags and jewellery that he and his wife Rosmah Mansor led. By the Malaysian Insight, this is The People versus Najib Razak. Follow us into the courtroom where it all happens. I'm Patrick Teo. Najib arrived in court at 9 a.m. this morning. His outfit of choice was a dark blue suit paired with a bright purple tie with blue diamonds. Waiting for him at the KL Court Complex lobby was a group of women from Pekan, his parliamentary constituency. Najib looked happy as he stepped out of his car, smiling and greeting the group. After a short prayer, he took a picture with his supporters before making his way up to Justice Colin Sequeira's courtroom. The prosecution had applied to postpone the One Malaysia Development Berhad or 1MDB trial dates so that the SRC international case can be settled first. Justice Sequeira will preside over the 1MDB trial. The judge agreed to vacate the 1MDB dates in May and June for SRC. The 1MDB trial, which was supposed to begin on May 14th, will now start on August 19th to November 14th. An hour later at 10 a.m., Najib was back in Justice Muhammad Nazlan Muhammad Ghazali's courtroom. While he waited for proceedings to start, he spent some time in the public gallery playing with his phone and chatting with friends. His two pillows were already waiting for him in the dock. Taking the stand first was prosecution witness number 25, Daman Huri Noor, who works as a secretary of the cabinet within the Prime Minister's Department or PMO. Daman spoke really fast, and the lawyers, on several occasions, had to stop and remind him to go slower, because even they couldn't keep up. He told the court his job is to take care of parliamentary matters in the PMO. From Daman, we find out that there was no appointment letter that showed Najib was appointed the finance minister. He was let go shortly after. The next two witnesses both dealt with finance and revealed how much Najib earned as Member of Parliament and Prime Minister. Ray will tell you more.
Okay, so Farah Nur Diana Azhar took the stand after Daman. She's the head of the MPs Affairs Division at the Parliament Secretariat, and her department oversees how much allowance members of Parliament get. She said that Najib, as member and head of Parliament, received an allowance of, I'll give you the exact figures here, 10,354 ringgit from 2011 to 2014. In January 2015 up till March 2018, that increased to 19,846 ringgit. The allowances were paid to Najib's personal account in Affin Bank, ending with 008. After Farah, the next witness was Zarina Yusof. She's the Deputy Head of Accounting at the Prime Minister's Office. Her department is in charge of ensuring the salaries of all civil servants in the PMO, including the Prime Minister, and that bills are paid on time. This is what she told the court about Najib's salary. From January to April 2009, Najib's monthly salary, including allowance, was 48,681 ringgit. From May 2009 until he stepped down as Prime Minister in April 2018, his salary, including allowance, was 58,606 ringgit. In May 2018, he received a further 1 million ringgit as special payment as the outgoing Prime Minister, in accordance with the law. His salary from the PMO was also credited into his Affin Bank account ending with 008. In total, Najib was earning a gross income of around 78,000 ringgit every month. The question and I guess everyone in the room was asking, How could he afford to spend over 150,000 on house renovations, then give millions of ringgit to various parties? Was he spending beyond his means? Or was he just good at saving money?
Court took a 5-minute break after Zarina's testimony. After getting a hot cup of coffee from the cafeteria, Najib sat on the benches outside the courtroom, sipping his drink. By this time, proceedings had already seen 3 witnesses in the morning. At 12 p.m., Kamaria Nuruddin took the stand. The 61-year-old was a former director of energy in the Economic Planning Unit. Her voice was shaky and she sounded nervous during questioning. She told the court that in 2010, one MDB sent a letter to the Finance Ministry requesting a grant of 3 billion ringgit to start SRC, a special vehicle to acquire key resources such as coal and iron. The letter was signed by one MDB's managing director, Sharul Azral Ibrahim Halmi. Kamaria said it was an unusually large amount to request and the grant was rejected. Instead, a 20 million ringgit launching grant was approved with a recommendation to invest in coal and uranium. Throughout most of the witness testimonies, Najib can be seen slouching in the dock. He is not allowed to read or play with his phone while court is in session. Court broke for lunch a little earlier than usual at 12:30 p.m. and as usual, Najib left the courthouse. After lunch, Kamaria was back for more cross-examining by the defense, which wrapped up fairly quickly. But the prosecution had more questions for her. She told the court the 1MDB proposal letter was serious and not just a, quote, harebrained scheme, unquote, as suggested by Shafi, because it came directly from 1MDB's managing director and was addressed to the Prime Minister. Kamaria added that 3 billion ringgit is 7% of Malaysia's annual development budget, which in total is 42 billion ringgit. Giving a grant of that scale to a company that had not even been started yet would be negligent. She was excused, and court took a 10-minute break. Najib went out for a breather. The last witness for the day took the stand after the break. Amirul Imran Ahmad worked in Retirement Fund Incorporated, or KWAP, as Deputy President for the Fixed Income Department from 2011 to 2014. He had prepared a statement to be read in court, which he sped through like a bullet train. Here's Ravin.
Amirul was a bit tough to follow because he was reading so fast. It was as if he didn't even stop to take a breath. Anyway, he said he was involved in the 4 billion ringgit loan KWAP gave to SRC in 2 separate transactions in 2011 and 2012. The loan was not approved at first because there wasn't enough documentation and 1MDB was not able to provide the information. Even Najib's letter of support to the fund couldn't push it through. Amir also said that he and his team were under a lot of pressure to approve the loan quickly, but he didn't say by whom. And then all of a sudden, KWAP issued an offer letter for the 2 billion ringgit loan, which was approved in a day after receiving a letter from the Ministry of Finance who backed the loan.
The clock struck 5 and Amirul was let go for the day. He will be back on Monday to answer more questions. There will be no proceedings tomorrow. The trial will continue on Monday. This podcast is produced, written and mixed by Revati Supramaniam, Yapik Kwan, Yvonne Lim and Ravin Palanisamy. Additional reporting by Beat Hong and Timothy Acharya. Other recordings from the court are Jeremy Singh and Hazmiza Hassan. I'm Patrick Teo.